Good morning, York Alliance. I'm so glad to be with you again this week. To start us off, we have just a few updates from Pastor Brian, so I'll pass you to him.
Hey York Alliance, great to be back with you again as we get to the end of the summer and we get ready to go into the fall. There's lots going on. We'll be communicating in a variety of different ways here in the next several weeks as things become a little bit more clear. But I want to give you several really important updates as we get to the end of the summer into the beginning of the fall. So 2 dates I want you to keep in mind. The first one is August 30th. 2 things that are important on August 30th. The first one is this. If you typically meet on the west side, you've been meeting at Sunset Lane Park over the last 4 to 6 weeks. On August 30th, we need to be back to the 4-H Center, the 4-H Center where we began meeting at the beginning of the summer. Just for 1 week, we have a conflict at Sunset Lane on that Sunday morning, and we would love for you to meet us instead at the 4-H Center, right past Dunedin Park on the way out towards Spring Grove. Most of you know where that is at this point, but if you want to gather at the 4-H Center, that's at 8:30 and at 10:30 on August 30th. Also on Sunday, August 30th, is our next Welcome to York Alliance class. Welcome to York Alliance is a 90-minute class, roughly, where we give a brief overview of who we are at York Alliance, our vision and our values, and how you can be a part. And so if you're relatively new to York Alliance or you're not sure how to plug in, this would be a great place for you to begin. We'll be meeting right here in the church lobby from 5:30 to 7. And it'll be a great opportunity to hear more about who we are and to be able to ask any questions that you have about how you can plug in and what it looks like to join in the flow of the Spirit here at York Alliance. And so that'll be from 5:30 to 7 on Sunday, August 30th, right here in the church lobby. The next date I need you to be aware of is September 20th. On Sunday, September 20th, we're going to celebrate baptism together as a family. Always a great, really joyous time of celebration. We're going to be doing that at the Pen Oaks Swim Club in East York. It's on Eden Bridge Road in East York. We'll be giving you lots of instructions as we get closer. We're going to have 2 worship gatherings, 8:30 and 10:30. They're all going to be outside, so we would ask you to bring chairs and blankets the way that you typically do. We'll have all of the normal things there that we would have as part of zone worship gatherings. Because we're going to have so many people in one place, you may want to have a mask accessible. If we're closer than 4 or 5 or 6 feet, it would probably be good for you to be able to have a mask. We believe we're going to be able to spread out really well, but there's going to be a time where we're all together because we're going to celebrate baptism right at 10:30. And so if you're coming to the 10:30 service, we want to encourage you to be here right on time. If you come to the 8:30, we'd ask you to stick around a little bit as we get ready to celebrate baptism right at 10:30 on September 20th. If you've never been baptized as a believer, this is a great opportunity to do it. What a memorable time in the midst of this crazy season to get baptized at an outdoor pool as we together commit to following Jesus and signify together our death to sin and life in Him. And so it's a great opportunity to do that. If you want to find out more information, shoot an email to info@yorkalliance.org or ask one of the pastors at the Zone Worship Gathering that you're attending. We'd love to give you more information and love to journey with you as we get ready for that baptism gathering on September 20th. And so that's going to be happening again, Sunday, September 20th, 8:30 and 10:30 at the Pen Oaks Swim Club in East York on that Sunday for baptism. The last thing I want to tell you is that as we move into the fall, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions as to will we be able to gather? How will we be able to gather? Are we going to come back into the building or not going to come back into the building? And we'll give you information as we get closer to mid-fall. We'll continue as we are through at least the middle of October. But as we journey through this season, it's so vitally important for us to be connected to one another. That connection is really the heart of what the New Testament speaks of when it talks about us gathering together. And so as we become a body that's gathering together in a variety of different ways, I want to encourage you towards 2 specific groups. The first one is Redemption Group. You've likely heard Pastor Tim talk about Redemption Group over the last couple weeks. If you're somebody who just feels a little stuck in their journey, wants to have a boost in your discipleship, is dealing with past hurt or pain or abuse, cycles of sin that you have a struggle getting away from and breaking free from, Redemption Group would be a great next step in the journey for you. They're gospel-based, biblically based teachings that walk us through what the process to health and moving forward as a disciple of Jesus looks like. And so the sign-ups are happening right now. If you go to our York Alliance homepage, you'll see a Redemption Group link right at the top. You can go to that page and sign up right there. The initial orientation is this coming Wednesday on August 26th. And you'll be able to get a bunch of information at that point. And so we'd encourage you to come and be a part of that. If Redemption Group's not the place for you, the other great place to plug in is through our community group ministry. If you are not yet in a community group, can I encourage you, this fall would be a great time to step in. We're not sure what our gatherings are going to look like, and even our best plans could change moment to moment, as we've seen over the last 6 months. But what we know is that those small groups of 8 to 15 adults and teens plus children, they're the most nimble and flexible gatherings that we have. And so if you're connected to a community group, you're going to remain connected throughout this season. And so I'd encourage you, if you're not currently meeting with a community group, now's a great time to sign up, get plugged in, and get connected as we go into the fall season. Many of those community groups are meeting in person, outside with some distance. Some of them are still meeting online, and a few of them are meeting inside in larger areas with some space. And whatever that looks like for you, we would love for you to be able to join into a group and journey together as we go through this fall season. There's lots of ways that those groups are going to be the lifeline of connection. And so if you're a part of York Alliance, we would love for you to be a part of a community group, particularly during this season. So we have August 30th, we're going to be at the 4-H Center, not Sunset Lane. So come to the 4-H Center if you're on the west side. Also, a Welcome to York Alliance class on August 30th in the evening, 5:30 to 7. Baptism on Sunday, September 20th. And community group signups and redemption group signups, both of which are happening right now. And so if you want to be connected to those or want more information, feel free to send an email, info@yorkalliance.org, or talk to one of the pastors or elders at your Zone Worship Gathering site, and we'd love to give you more information. Thanks for tuning in to the York Alliance Weekly. It's such a helpful way for us to stay connected. I hope to see all of you at a Zone Worship Gathering in the next several weeks. And looking forward to the fall as we journey together. That's it for now. Back to you, Kira.
There's a lot of uncertainty about what fall is going to look like, how we're going to interact with play dates and stuff for our kids. That can create some hesitancy and some fear. But Jonas and Beth are trying to combat that. So I hope that you're encouraged by their next update.
Well, hey, York Alliance family. Beth and I are here today just to talk a little bit about this fall and what's coming up for children's and youth and college ministry. So we just wanted to kind of start off with some fun stuff. So let me turn it over to Beth.
So we were thinking about ways that, like something that would help captivate what we're looking at this fall in children's ministry, in youth and college. And you know what came to our mind was Play-Doh. You might be thinking, Play-Doh? Well, there's something to it.
Well, there's a few things that Play-Doh says to us. One of the things that it reminds us of is flexibility. Because, you know, like when you pick up a can of Play-Doh and it's been sitting with the lid off and it's all dried out, yeah, we're not talking about that kind. We're talking about good, squishy Play-Doh. And the reason this kind of makes us think about this fall is we've got to remain flexible. We can't allow ourselves to get dried out and hard and crusty. We've got to stay flexible because things are going to change, as you know, with the school districts and all the restrictions and guidelines. Already things, just like day by day or week by week, things are changing. Well, we're going to do our best, like we have been. We've been trying to do really well since all this started. And as we go into the fall, we can promise you we will be doing something. Always something, but it may change even as we go. So we'll do our best to keep it consistent, but just flex with us, okay? Just be flexible.
And the other thing about Play-Doh is creativity. So the fact is, we've had to step back and think about ministry through a different lens and think creatively. And I know as parents, you probably have been doing the same thing of trying to pull tricks out of your hat to keep your kids entertained. So we want you to know we're committed to trying to be creative and finding relevant things that will work for families, not compromise anybody's health or safety, and still keep us unified.
Another thing is, with Play-Doh, we use it to make things. You know, we're constantly doing something. We shape it into all sorts of things. I like to make people. I like to build houses with it. All kinds of things. But you know what? God's doing something. And sometimes we wonder in the midst of all of this stuff, it's kind of confusing and it's been hard. We haven't been in the building, or we haven't been there. We haven't been able to gather all together. We're like, is God still at work? Well, he definitely is. He is doing something, and he calls us to be on mission with him, to be making. And I don't mean that we're going to build something physical, but we are building something very spiritual. And whether that's in your home, like Beth's been really spending a lot of time trying to resource parents in the home. We've been still trying to create things for our students to do. And so we like with Connect, we went out and we worked in people's homes, or at people's homes, not in the homes. We worked outside the homes. But just doing some tangible ways to show God's love. And so we need to remember that we're always on mission. You know, that God is making something beautiful out of us right now. And so we need to remember that. And Play-Doh's a good reminder.
That's right. And another reminder, if you sat down at a table and you had this little ball of Play-Doh to pick up and create with, or this ball of Play-Doh to pick up and create with, which one would you go for? That's right. We can do more with more. So sometimes when we are struggling and things aren't going so well, we're not coping well with all the changes, we retreat and we pull back and we're like this little piece of Play-Doh. And so if everyone does that, that really impacts what we can do together. So we need to come together. We need each other's support, and together we can do more. So it doesn't mean necessarily that we're always going to be physically together, but when we are unified in heart and soul, that will make a difference. And as families, we all need one another. We're better together.
And Play-Doh is really tasty. I almost took a bite, but I'm not gonna, because all the parents would be really upset. No, it's a lot of fun, and that's what we want to end with, is just, we need to remember to have fun. You know, whether it's at home and things are stressful, or whether you get to meet together in a park, or at a pavilion, or in someone's backyard, just take a deep breath and remember that God's in it, and let his joy come out. Let's have some fun together, even in the midst of the chaos.
And when you put it together, it makes a beautiful thing. So be looking for ways that you can connect. The things that we have right now, we have the zone gatherings on Sunday mornings. We have the community groups that meet in parks or people's backyards. So maybe you've never been part of that before. That would be a great way to get your kids out to interact with some other children and other people. And so there are ways, even though it seems like we can't be together in the church building, there are opportunities for us to actually be together. So be on the lookout for those and step out of your comfort zone and give them a try. So remember, York Alliance family, the promise from Psalms 32:10, the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts him. So together, as we trust him, we can rest in his promise to guide us through this difficult time.
Well, that's it for this edition of the York Alliance Weekly. Thanks for joining, and I can't wait to see you Sunday.